Hey guys, Marsinger here, bringing you a Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we're going to take a look at the STR Carnival Goku from the Hachiak special on the physical trio team as we continue to check out a bunch of older units and see whether they have been saved, quote unquote, by the new physical trio and their ability to provide a ton of extra defense. Now the big thing with these guys is that they are a defensive support unit, so they provide a lot of defense themselves as well, which means they would help out the team a fair bit if they were actually viable again. You can see here we give superclass allies 2 key and 50% defense. They have 30% damage reduction, and then they build up a little bit of attack and defense with each attack received. Once they've received 5 attacks, they get 2 extra key, and then they get a scouter ability once they've received 10 attacks, and then that is also how they can use their active skill. Now the problem with this unit, and it's kind of like a problem with Carnival LRs in general, is the fact that this character released on Global, and then I think in the time it took for the unit to come back for the first time on a banner, we already had content released that was arguably too difficult for them to withstand. I guess because it's the issue that a lot of units I ran into, I suppose, with the Dismal Future Red Zone, where we got a whole bunch of events to come out that just hit ridiculously hard straight away on turn 1. And so some of these weaker units, or units that need to get built up specifically, like weren't built for that, right? So we'll see how we get on. We only start off with like 300k defense. We do have the little bit of extra, you know, having the damage reduction kind of helps out a little bit. We do raise defense on both of our super attacks as well, so getting additional supers with them is good. The problem is, it's a shame we got so many attacks like at the end of the rotation, but we can take one hit here. The next phase is physical, which does make it a little bit easier. And I suppose one of the other things that was always kind of an issue with these guys is when they first came out and they were decent on release, like on JP, the idea, I suppose, with their design would be to keep them on rotation for like the first couple of turns, and then, you know, they get to take some hits, they get built up, and then, you know, you're all good to go essentially. But the problem is now, of course, with content being as hard as it is, or enemies, bosses hitting as hard as they do, you know, they kind of dropped off very quickly because you didn't want them taking tons of hits from bosses that could hit super hard, could super attack straight away on turn 1 for ridiculous amounts of damage. So it'd be very interesting to see whether these guys are able to be brought back by the physical trio, because we really needed this sort of setup. Once we have the second trio on rotation, because we had them on rotation on turn 1 with the trio and Bulma, so they got some extra support from her. The trio giving 77% defense to all allies. When it comes to the next turn, we'll obviously have these guys on support as well for 2 turns, because obviously it doesn't activate until the first turn they're on. So their support has now been activated. When we go back to the previous turn, or previous rotation, we will have the setup again. Well, I suppose the other thing we have to think about is the rotation partners, because I need to double check the categories for these guys, because to give that 77% for defense for 2 turns, the physical trio do need to have an all-out struggle or movie heroes character on rotation, and you know, the Hachiak special doesn't count as a movie, so these guys aren't on movie heroes. I'm not sure if they are on all-out struggle, but if they're not, it means the other character on the rotation has to be on one of those. So actually on turn 1 they weren't getting the buff from the physical trio because Bulma is not an all-out struggle character or movie hero. So I need to double check. I mean, it's all 5 of them fighting against Hachiak, so you could make the argument that they should be on all-out struggle, but I guess we'll see. We need them to take some hits. Yeah, see, Future Gohan, is he on all-out struggle? I mean, considering Future Gohan's situation, he probably should be, right? He is, yeah, okay. So now they've got 413k start of turn 2, which is okay, I guess. With 30% damage reduction to back it up. They are not. Yeah, so in the first turn we didn't have that defensive buff, but now we do. So we'll go ahead and do this. I mean, we need him to take hits in slot 1, otherwise we're not going to take any hits before we end up moving on to the next phase. I restarted this. It's annoying that these events are limited attempts, because I restarted this like 3 times because I couldn't get a rotation where they would be on turn 1. But unfortunately, like, I'm going to run out of attempts otherwise if I didn't keep going. So we had to start with them on turn 2, which is a little bit unfortunate. We get to take 2 more hits in slot 1, so we've taken 3 hits in total. But we are still 2 hits away from actually maxing out our passive. But this is where things will start to get crazy, because obviously now we have the 77% defense support from the previous turn. Then we're going to get the Bulma buff as well now on this turn, which will carry over to the next turn. So we should be looking pretty good. We took 2 more hits, so interested to see what their start of turn defense will be on the next turn. We still have 2 more hits they can take to get buffs. So, I mean, they should relatively quickly, I suppose. The key is going to be taking hits early on when the enemy isn't hitting super hard. But with the 30% damage reduction that they have to back them up, as long as they're taking, well, like, able to tank normals, which that 30% damage reduction obviously helps quite a bit with, then, you know, realistically, you could argue they could be runnable on this team. The only problem is, as we started to say earlier, is realistically their role on the team, unless they're good enough to be on rotation, which, you know, even if the trio makes them runnable again, they're probably not going to be an on rotation character. They're a floating 3rd slot support, giving defensive support to the team. But of course, usually, you know, we saw the turn 1 with the AGL gods where they were attacking heavily in slot 3. That's usually not the case. So if you have a unit that needs to get hit a whole bunch, and then you're just floating them off every turn, they're only ever going to come back every 3 turns instead of 2. They lose out on multiple opportunities to get hit and build up their passive. So I can't even remember, even when they first released, and it was a bit safer to run them on rotation, getting them hit 10 times so you could get the active skill was already, like, difficult enough, right? So certainly could be a bit tricky. I can't remember the last time I saw their active skill and scouter ability actually in the game. So well, we got attack lowered. I don't know what, or he got attack lowered. I don't know what his super attack cooldown is actually, because we probably could get away with putting these guys in slot 1 here, because that's another, what, 4 hits? Still only takes us up to 8, but it does max out our passive. So we'll go ahead and transform you, get the heal. And we're starting off at 563k. And bear in mind, he gives everybody else the extra defense as well. So, I mean, like, Blue Gogeta's not a character normally who has very high defense. He's relying on dodging, and then obviously does raise his defense on super. But he's getting, on this turn, what, the 2 trio supports. That's like 154%, I think. Then he's getting 50% from these guys, and he's getting Bulma's support as well. So the amount of support on this rotation is pretty insane. So we'll go ahead and do this. Grab these for you, and then I guess we'll just grab those for you. He's going to get finished off here regardless anyway. So we get 2 more hits now. Our passive is fully built up. Get the extra key, which, I mean, on this team, again, with the trio giving that all the support they give, easy for these guys to get 24 key, which does give them a guaranteed additional super. So that helps with building up their stats as well. And then 18 million, I mean, considering their role to be a support, 18 into a 12, that's not bad. Ideally, they don't kill him, though, because then if we take those other 2 hits, is that 10? I think it is, right? Did I say 8? Yeah, they were on... No, they were on 3 hits. And then they took 4, and now they've taken another 2. Man, so 1 hit away. That's unfortunate. I mean, we might be able to get the active skill in before the end here, because I like doing the Gogeta event for showcasing some of these teams now, because it is still an event that can, you know, do some damage to you, but it's also not, like, insanely hard. I don't want to 1-turn this guy. I do want to active skill with Future Gohan, though, just because it makes him better. Now it's only 1 bar. That's not too bad. That's 6 orbs, so I need the orbs for these guys, though. Although the key on this turn is actually really bad. I guess I could just stand by, but then we lose that extra defensive support for the next turn, and then we lose the ability for them to do all the additionals that lower attack. So yeah, I think I just have to do that. And then, of course, we can't actually get orbs for God Goku, but that doesn't matter because he's in the middle. So yeah, I guess we'll just do this. I mean, they still get a fairly decent buff. Like, we didn't have the 24 key, but we've got 20. So, still get a relatively good buff. They didn't get supered straight away, so that's good. We get some extra defense off of our supers and, of course, attack lowering on the additionals. I suppose this event, because you can attack lower in the later phases, is also one that is, I guess you could argue, not the best for showcasing whether some of these older units are runnable again, because obviously the STR Carnival Goku is going to take great advantage of the fact that the attack has been lowered ready for the next turn. But still works out quite well for us here. I mean, the thing is, you can do so much damage to Gogeta in one turn with some of these stronger teams. Like the trio, being as good as they are defensively supporting, they also hit quite hard as well. So definitely are a fantastic unit. Like I say, check out my recent top 10 LRs list. I think most people would have the same top 3, I think, but we talked about it a lot in the video. I feel like the top 3 is fairly interchangeable, but if you want to see, if you have not seen that list already, where I put the trio, I mean, spoiler alert, they are in the top 3, obviously, but whereabouts we put them, check out that video, let me know your thoughts, let me know your own personal top 10, whether you want to put it in the comments in this video, or go over and put it on the tier list video. But yeah, these guys are very, very good, so Future Gohan, I think, is another unit that has still, like, lived, had a very good lifespan. Like, I said this in a recent video, but on release he was good, but he didn't have a lot of, like, 200% teams. But, like, I feel like a couple more 200% teams have come out for him. And now I just really, really enjoy using this guy. So, yeah, we're going to kill... Oh, actually... Yeah, unless I put him in slot 1, we're going to kill before we get to do anything. So we've got 521k defense, 30% damage reduction. I mean, I could, if I do this and then get the transformation, because if I do this, they won't get to attack, but then he'll get to attack and he probably kills them. This is the problem. So if we want to get him built up to actually get his scouter and active skill, I kind of have to put him in slot 1, which there's a lot of attacks, which means he could very easily get hit here, or get supered, I should say. He's obviously going to get hit, but now I could, if I put these guys into their standby, we're going to get extra defense because of all the physical orbs. Then I can use Bulma's standby as well. Yeah, because we're getting 11 orbs, so that's like, what, 77% defense to all allies, so it's actually the same, but... So I got 628, and then we're going to get the Bulma orbs buff as well. So they've got a pretty decent amount of defense plus damage reduction, and Gogeta's been attack lowered. But I think if they eat a slot 1 super, they probably still take a bit of damage. But hey, they take double-digit damage from his normals here. But he is going to super. So how much does this do? 790k. Okay, so we still die, but man, we were so close to getting that, getting those. We got the 10th hit, but it was if only there'd been one extra attack earlier on. Damn. Well, I hate this thing that comes up all the time now as well. How many attempts do I actually have left now? 1. Man, well, I want to save that for something else ideally, but yeah, let me know what you guys think about STR Carnival Goku. We had to take that risk to get the 10th hit, otherwise we would have gone into the STR Gogeta phase, and STR Gogeta, I feel like he's very easy to kill. Like, he doesn't have a lot of HP, so I think if we'd gone into the turn, like if we just put the... I mean, that turn was very easy to survive, right? So, in terms of usability for these guys, you can definitely get away with using them in this event. Just as you see there, you can't really be taking a super attack. I mean, I guess if we'd supered first as well, because we do raise attack and defense on both supers. The 18 key gives them the guaranteed additional. Sorry, 24 key gives them the guaranteed additional. So, I mean, 790k. We would have taken a lot of damage still from the super, even if it was post-super attack, but we might have survived. But yeah, they're not going to be a unit that you put in slot 1 really anyway. We just kind of had to take the risk to try and get the... final part of their passive active. I should have just popped a Whis really, but there you go. So let me know what you guys think of the STR trio, the STR Carnival Goku. I guess there's 5 of them, isn't there? So, but yeah, I think it could be interesting to run them in some of these other events. Like, Maybe Beast because he's physical at the end, but obviously the problem will be if he locks them in slot 1. Having a scouter to tell you that they're about to get slot 1 super doesn't really do much good for them when they're about to get slot 1 super and you can't move them because they got rotation locked. But let me know what you guys think of the trio. Do you think they are somewhat usable now? Try them out in some events if you have them. Let me know how you feel about them on the physical trio team. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.